So moved.
Support. Roll call vote.
Commissioner Howell,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Strayer,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry.
Yes.
Commissioner Gott.
Yes.
The motion to excuse Mayor Keith is approved by an all yes vote.
Thanks everybody for coming today. Just to kind of get some ground rules on how we do things in Adrian is that, we have public comment, and it's a 3-minute time limit. The city commission will not engage with the public in a dialogue back and forth. We are here to listen to your comments and concerns, and once they're done, then the city commission will conduct their business. So we only have one resolution on the agenda, so it should go rather quickly. So. The regular agenda, R22-039 Administration. Adoption of a resolution stating the current position of the City Commission on Project Phoenix. Can I get a motion?
Move to adopt the resolution. Support.
I have support. Can I have public comment? In the chamber, we'll do in the chambers first, and then move on Zoom after we're done in here. Well, before we start, I'm going to read for the public's knowledge. I'm going to read what the resolution actually says, so folks understand what we're actually voting on here. So I'm going to read it. Resolution R22-039. Whereas the City Commission for the City of Adrian believes that it is important that it makes clear in its position regarding the proposed Lenawee Community Complex, also known as Project Phoenix, proposed for the former Tecumseh product site on South Edmond Street in the city of Tecumseh, which Lenawee County recently acquired. And whereas the City Commission for the City of Adrian values the positive collaborative relationship that it has developed with the city of Tecumseh, and does not want its position on Project Phoenix to be construed as a commentary or on the city of Tecumseh's legitimate efforts to redevelop a blighted property within its city limits. And whereas the City Commission for the City of Adrian supports Lenawee County's effort to remediate the Tecumseh product site and believes that it should be a part of the countywide effort on the part of the Lenawee County government to address and remediate blight, particularly on properties that the county owns and controls. And whereas the City Commission for the City of Adrian believes that it is too early to take a position on the appropriateness or viability of Project Phoenix without a complete, thorough, and objective analysis of the ability of the project to be self-sustaining and not to be a drain on the taxpayers of Lenawee County. And whereas the City Commission for the City of Adrian believes that Lenawee County must engage in a fully transparent decision-making process in determining whether the Project Phoenix should be funded, if at all, by county resources. And whereas the City Commission for the City of Adrian believes that Lenawee County must engage in a fully transparent decision-making process in determining where Project Phoenix should be located, if it finds it to be appropriately be a county-owned facility, or a facility in which substantial county resources are invested. So that is the actual resolution that's going to be on the table. You will hear from my colleagues on the commission, in regards to their opinions on the matter. So first we'll do public comment in the chambers, and then we will go to Zoom. And just understand that we have a 3-minute time limit, and please be respectful for that. And the City Commission will not dialogue back and forth with the public.
I understand. Thank you. I just wanted this to be right.
And also, please state your name and your address, please, before talking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Helt, and especially thank you to every one of the commission members who are here this evening. My name is Jack Baker. I live at 499 Seminole Drive, City of Tecumseh. Some of you may well know me as also the mayor of the City of Tecumseh. Joining me this evening is my team, and I would like to introduce them. First, being Councilmember Brian Redant. Second, being Councilmember Austin C. Third, being City Manager Dan Swallow. Fourth, being Economic Development Director Jessica Sattler. Thank you for being here. I promised, as I spoke to you earlier, Mayor Pro Tem, I will not go over the 3 minutes, but if for some reason I do, and as much as I've not seen anyone else that wants to speak, give me just a few extra seconds. I'm not asking for a favor, I'm just asking to allow me to finish my presentation. Once again, thank you all for allowing this opportunity. I'm going to start off on a little bit of a negative note, but I'm going to finish it up with a very positive note. And the negative note I'm going to address is the disappointment that I have that your mayor is not here this evening. I understand why. I have spoken with her. I will assure you that I think any special meeting that is called by any members of this commission should be also including your mayor. I don't know any of the particulars. I think it could have happened. I think as important as this vote is this evening, that the highest elected official of the largest populated municipality in this county should have a vote. Now, that being said, we're going to move on to a little more positive things. The first thing I would like to ask you is, before this resolution is voted upon, and maybe you've already done this, but maybe you haven't, I would ask you to reach out to the Illinois County Board of Commissioners. And I would ask you to consider having a joint workshop or a joint meeting with them to get the most current information. Not information that you received last month, not information that you received last week, but the information that is available today. I think that might have an impact on your decision on this resolution. The second thing I want to address is, and Mayor Pro Tem spoke about that in his resolution, the relationships between the city of Tecumseh and the city of Adrian have never been greater. And I thank each and every one of you for being a large part of that. I'm also going to take a little bit of that credit myself, and I'm going to give you a little history lesson. I was first elected the mayor of the city of Tecumseh in 1994. The mayor of the city of Adrian at that time was a friend of mine by the name of Sam Rye. And one of the things that I wanted to accomplish when I ran as mayor was to improve the relationships between all, and you know, I guess I'm over. I'm sorry. I just didn't see anybody else. I didn't see anybody else behind me.
Right,
So I'm going to ask if I can have the second.
Right,
person's
that's going to
time.
be my colleagues, you know, our rules and procedures state that we have to have a roll call vote if we let public comment go over 3 minutes. So if I get a motion from my dais that, you know, and support with the roll call vote, then we will continue on with this particular comment.
I would let Mayor Weaver continue his conversation.
Support?
Thank you, Commissioner Castleberry. Thank you, Commissioner Strayer. I do appreciate that very much, because I think what I have to say is important.
How much time is he gonna get?
That is not for me to say, sir.
That is not.
Yeah, we need to have a vote on the motion first, so before you continue, so.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Strayer,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry.
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
Commissioner Hall.
Yes.
Thank you all, and I will continue in a very timely manner, I promise you. So I was talking about the relationships that we built up with the city of Adrian. Sam Rye was one of those individuals that I had a wonderful working relationship with. We actually decided to have mayor's exchange between the two communities in 1994. It was one of the best things that ever happened between these two cities. Continuing on, I've had great relationships with Mayor Berman, with Mayor Jacobson, certainly with Mayor Heath. I've had great relationships with the city administrators, certainly with Administrator Elliott, going back to Shane Horn, going way back to the 90s. I don't want to see that go down. I do not want to see that happen. I want this relationship to continue. I want it to be positive. I have read the resolution. Michelle Dewey provided me with that resolution this afternoon. Thank you, Michelle. I do appreciate that. I did have the opportunity to read it. There's parts of that resolution I totally agree with. There's parts of that resolution I do not agree with. That's okay. That's not my resolution. That's yours. What I'm asking you at this point, let's put a pause on this. Let's stop. Let's step back. Let's have this joint meeting with the County Board of Commissioners to get the most updated information that they have available. Rather than take a stance this afternoon, I'm asking you to put a pause on this. Let's let the rhetoric, everything else die down, and then I will be more than happy to listen to that resolution. I'll conclude with this. There's no question in my mind that Project Phoenix is a good thing. And I want you to know, because I'm a resident of the city of Tecumseh, it is a great fit for the city, but more importantly, and equally importantly, it is a good fit for the county of Lenawee. And rest assured, that includes the city of Adrian. Time is on our side. It definitely is. We don't have to rush this. Let's dial it down. Let's do all of our research to the most up-to-date information that we have, and then make our decisions. Thank you all for allowing me to speak to you this evening. Thank you so much.
Hi, please state your name and address, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Kim Murphy. I am the county administrator and I live at 5 Maumee Court in Adrian. I am here this afternoon to address some of the concerns that I heard, some of the rumors that are out there that really are just that, they're rumors. The first one foremost is the rumor that the city or that the county commissioners are going to be voting tomorrow on Project Phoenix. That is false. There is no vote being taken. In fact, we are actually going to be having Sports Facilities Companies, who is one of the contractors that we are working with to look at this project in person, to do a presentation to the commissioners and answer a number of their questions that they have. That meeting is at 10 o'clock, and I would encourage all of you to attend if you have the ability. If you can't, we are also going to have it recorded and placed on our website as we have every other presentation that SFC has conducted for us. Our website has an enormous amount of information regarding Project Phoenix. If you go to www.lenawee.mi.us, on the main page there's a screen that says Project Phoenix. You just click on it, it takes you to everything you need to see. On Wednesday, the Board of Commissioners are going to be hearing from a couple of our environmental teams that are working on site. There's a lot of questions and concerns about whether the property is going to be safe for children to play on. I will tell you that they will be there to answer those questions, as will Joe Kelly from the EPA. He will be there by Zoom to answer questions that our commissioners have. We are doing everything in our capacity to make sure that this is being done openly and transparently. Unlike a private entity that is able to figure out a business prospect behind closed doors and figure everything out before they come out to the public with what they're planning on doing, we as a governmental unit, as I'm sure you are aware, don't have that luxury. We have to do everything in public. So that's what we've been doing. We've been developing this plan and we're bringing it to the public as it becomes available. Through that, we are coming up with different avenues, different ideas, different things. It appears that people are taking different pieces of that and running with it as if that is our final decision. And that is not. We are simply trying to be transparent and show you the information as it is presented. And that is what we continue to do. We are not voting this week, and I cannot stress that enough. I would encourage you to sit back and let us continue to bring information to the table before you take a stance opposing the project. I don't know if our commissioners are in favor or against the project. We are still in the fact-finding mission. We are still trying to provide information to them. And I would encourage you to allow us to take those steps as necessary before you take a solid position. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, okay, sorry.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dan Swallow, Lenawee County resident, and of course, Tecumseh City Manager, as the Mayor stated. I've had the privilege of working with a number of your staff, as well as a number of your appointed officials on various boards and commissions. I want to thank Mr. Elliott for, again, as the Mayor mentioned, creating that open and working relationship, as well as Mr. Bird and Mr. Horn before him. We've made great strides, specifically through our local development finance authority that we are both part of. In fact, I just recently worked with Mr. Elliott to secure significant resources to look at the Witt Farm and what development opportunities exist there, again, for the benefit of the city of Adrian. We're also looking forward to working together on the Kiwanis Trail. We're working currently on a connection to the hospital site, and we want to create a network of non-motorized trails throughout the county, again, connecting to the city of Adrian. I view Project Phoenix as another way our two communities can collaborate. Bringing thousands of visitors to Lenawee County is going to benefit both communities without a doubt. To give you an example, one of the early reports of the project was there weren't enough hotel rooms in the city of Tecumseh. Our response was great. Because you know what? They're gonna go to Adrian, and they're gonna stay there, and they're gonna spend money there, and that's what we want to happen. The former Tecumseh product site does have a few notable advantages, which make it favorable for this project. It is 55 contiguous acres, a short distance from a commercial center. We have available fields immediately across the street and down Raisin Center Highway at Mitchell Park. All of the infrastructure is in place. There's to service 5,000 people that used to work at the facility, including the roads, water, sewer, storm, gas, and electric. Not to mention, as I read in your proposed resolution, it is a blighted site that obviously we want to put back into useful service to create taxes, not only for the city of Tecumseh, but for Lenawee County, and the schools, and all the other taxing jurisdictions. So I look forward to working with the City of Adrian staff, and potentially some of you, to bring you more information about the project, and help demonstrate why we do believe it would be a benefit for the entire county, not just the City of Tecumseh. Thank you.
Terry Collins, 11 Scott Court, Adrian, Michigan. I am also a county commissioner representing the west side of the city of Adrian. I too would like to promulgate, continue, and enhance the relationship between Tecumseh and Adrian. I think it has done well for many years, and hopefully will continue. However, I cannot support Project Phoenix. There are several issues that address this problem, but let me cite this morning I received an email from somebody who is in favor of Project Phoenix, who talked about going to a tournament in the Battle Creek area, a baseball game. Multiple teams involved in it, and touted the fact that people stayed in Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, another town, I can't remember the other town. Looking on the map, you'll notice that all three towns are right off I-94, immediately off I-94. We don't have an I-94 in Adrian. We don't have an I-94 between Tecumseh and Adrian. We don't have a US 23. We don't have a 127. We don't have that communication, or excuse me, that coming between the two. If somebody's going to come to one of these tournaments, if they in fact happen, they're not going to come through Adrian to go to Tecumseh. They're going to come up 23, down I-94, across I-94, in 127. They're not going to come through the city of Adrian. I also want to address one other issue. As of now, if it doesn't increase, we are asked to contribute over $32.3 million. $32.3 million for this project. That is money out of a certain fund, money we're going to bond, the price we've already paid to purchase the property, the price for a feasibility study, and it may go on. How many other projects, very needy projects in this county, can be helped with $32 million? That's a huge sum of money. I also ask you to take a hard look at the pro forma if you haven't already looked at it. The current cost of the major building is $88.8 million. Does not reflect the $2.3 million already spent to purchase the property. Does not reflect depreciation in the equipment. Turf fields, artificial turf, they're not going to last forever. Parking lots are not going to stay surplus forever. I don't see depreciation anywhere in that pro forma. I urge you to vote your conscience, to vote how you feel. I know it's an extremely difficult position. I laud the city of Tecumseh for having the fortitude to try to attempt this. I think it should be a privately funded program. Thank you.
Hello, Eric Kennedy, 109 East Maumee, Adrian. I'm a huge proponent of youth athletics. Those of you talking on the personal level will understand that. I also believe that the city of Adrian should be putting in a 50-meter pool. However, this project being in Tecumseh does not service the youth of Adrian, and does not service the youth of the county. Morenci Addison, all those kids are not traveling to Tecumseh. So if you have it here on city property, it would be more centrally located. We already provide all the free tax benefit of county offices being here. Why not one more? Thank you.
Josh Van Camp, I'm 3883 Pike Road, Jasper, Michigan. I am an Ogden Township trustee, but come here tonight speaking on my own behalf. I have a lot of concerns about Project Phoenix. I think there's the whole financial aspect of it that doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. Some of the comments made as far as the numbers and how it would actually be paid for and what the county or the city might be on the hook for in terms of responsibility if the project doesn't meet its financial goals. But I was someone that, 6 months ago didn't know a whole lot about this, but seen in the paper that there was something going on about Project Phoenix, and it was the site, and well, that's interesting. I don't remember really any discussion taking place in the community. I don't, it was already decided that it was going to be in Tecumseh, and that kind of got me motivated to kind of start, digging around and asking. And it's been an uphill fight with the county to get information out about this project. We heard Administrator Murphy talk tonight about being transparent. I asked for the information before that the county had the initial vote back in October and was initially told that I could not be provided that information. Now, through the FOIA law, she did have to eventually turn over the information. We talked about transparency tonight. Just here tonight, I received emails from Administrator Murphy telling me to be able to get information to determine why the project unfolded the way it did in Commissioner Stimpson's district, that it would cost me $25,000 to $100,000 to have my FOIA request answered. I just want to know who sent some emails, who was Commissioner Stimpson talking to, who was sending information into the county, and I'm being stonewalled with a $25,000 to $100,000 wall, essentially. So I encourage you to continue asking tough questions. Why did the process take place the way that it did? Why was not consideration given for a more central location that would be beneficial to everyone in this county and reinforce that Adrian is the seat of this county, not Tecumseh? I don't fault the people in the city of Tecumseh wanting to do something with their blighted property, but this should be a city of Tecumseh project. Their residents have the means to be able to pursue something like this. It doesn't necessarily mean they need the city of Adrian or county money to be able to do that. I think they've got the means to go ahead and do this. If this project is really bigger that they say it is. So again, I encourage you to step back and step away from this project and continue to ask the tough questions, because otherwise Adrian is going to continue to get pushed aside in favor of Tecumseh, who's going to continue to tout their proximity to Ann Arbor and those larger markets. So stick up for Adrian. Thank you.
See no more public comment in the, pardon me, go ahead. Please state your name and address.
Victoria Powell, Greenview Drive, Adrian, Michigan. I've known about the Phoenix project for a brief time. I met last month with the Lenawee County Commissioners to raise the point, what is the focus of the county commissioners centering on a town 12.5 miles north of Adrian, dealing with a project in a blighted area, taking it away from the county seat, Adrian, Michigan, and how did it actually transpire? My question was, what are the Lenawee County Commissioners doing? I mean, we have a hospital out toward Tecumseh. We have no public transportation in the city to get our citizens there. We have a YMCA, which now, which was fully, the kids were there every school day of the week during the school year for safety reasons, for after-school projects. It's not functioning there. There is no public transportation, so our kids cannot benefit the YMCA that is out there. And now we're finally going to have a project that will cost nearly $89 million at the expense of the county, the citizens of the county costing somewhere between $21 and $31 million as a bond that needs to be taken out to support this project. Now, I have to ask this. Adrian has contaminated water. This was brought up at the meeting last month. And by the way, at the end of that meeting, they said that they would have a further presentation of the project, but they would be voting this month. They said that at the end of last month's meeting. So if that's changed, it wasn't changed until recently. But my question is, Adrian has contaminated water since 2018, nothing's been done about it. We have no public transportation for our citizens in this city. This is a city that is the county seat. The Chamber of Commerce is no longer in this city. A board member of Lenawee Chamber Commerce stated that she's attended many meetings about this project, but that where else would we put it? There's no place in the entire Lenawee County that can sustain a project like this. But my question today is, where has the transparency been? I don't know your view. The people in Adrian do not know your view about this project. Where do you stand? What kind of discussion has transpired? What's the pros and cons from your standpoint? And why haven't we been informed? We have every right to be informed. We are taxpayers of this county. And every citizen has every right to know what's going on with this project. We have blighted areas. This city is 20,000 people, not 8,000.
Time's up. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Seeing no more public comment in the chambers, we will go to Zoom.
Ken Tokars, 110 South Locust. Mayor Pro Tem, I want to first of all welcome Tecumseh residents to the county seat, so named because it is centrally located in Lenawee County. Mayor Pro Tem, I would ask for some friendly amendments. One is regards to consultants. The Egyptians stopped using asbestos because it was killing people. Consultants told the people in the U.S. it was okay to use, and we started using it. I don't put a lot of weight into consultants. Tecumseh is not centrally located, as stated earlier. Tecumseh, just earlier this week, failed to pass a bond. If Mr. Stimson is so convinced that this is a great project, let the Tecumseh voters vote to pay for it, or at least pay for 90% of it, and have the county only take up maybe 10% of it as anything. Maybe the 2.3 million could be a gift, and the Tecumseh voters can take up the rest. Hotels are not going to go into Adrian. They're going to go into Saline or Monroe County. They're not coming into Adrian. Ms. Murphy's in the audience right now. Ask her why, after I signed up for the Phoenix Project updates, my name was taken off some list, and I never got any more updates afterwards because I spoke out against the project. I don't trust Ms. Murphy, and I'm going to say why. Because they originally said that this wasn't going to cost taxpayers money. But then I found out 3 months later that they're going to use COVID dollars that could have been used for roads or lead water lines. The lottery, or grants, are like the lottery. We haven't won the lottery. You don't know that you have. The city of Adrian just received a $20 million grant from ProMedica. Did the county kick in any money for that? Mr. Swallow, or Mayor Baker, you guys have mentioned collaboration. Every time something comes in front of the city of Adrian, you guys pay maybe 20% or 10% or 5%. Adrian picks up 50%. So yeah, I understand you want to have a relationship. If you wanted to have a good relationship with the city of Adrian, you should have been picking up 50% like we were. Heritage Park. Heritage Park is a great location for this project. Why wasn't that discussed? I think this is a bad project overall, and I think that if it does get approval, the approval should come from the Lenawee County voters and not 6 commissioners that I feel are being manipulated, especially from someone who headed the project and actually owned land adjacent to it. He should have recused himself, or he should have let the people know in the audience back in August that he owned that land. Thank you.
Seeing no more comments on Zoom, any commissioner comments? Commissioner Schreier?
Let me first say that I'm not opposed to this project on principle. If it were being done with private money or it was being done by the city of Tecumseh, I would definitely be a cheerleader on this project. I'm opposed to a very expensive project that uses taxpayer dollars and is going to benefit very few. Now, I've seen in emails and I've been told that no taxpayer dollars are going to be used. Somebody has to explain that to me, because I don't get it. I mean, your source of revenue is pretty much the same as Adrian's. So that's something that needs to be explained to me, how that's going to work, because I've been told that there are grants that are available, but writing a grant and having a grant approved are two totally different things. I also know that from my experience of 7 years on this commission, that anytime there's any talk of a grant possibility, there's always talk of matching funds. Well, to me, matching funds are going to have to come from taxpayer dollars. So again, that whole thing needs to be explained to me, and I'll let people who are better at money debate that part. I'm looking at this more from a practical standpoint than anything, and that is that when, I don't know how many years ago now, but when Cabela's came to Dundee, there was nothing there before Cabela's. Cabela's came to Dundee, and all of a sudden, Dundee was booming. There were things happening, but 5 miles down the road, in Monroe, or five miles down the other direction, in Ida, they didn't benefit at all. They're in their same county. You go to Ida today, it's still the same old town it was before Dundee came. What's it been now? 2 years ago since the Hickman Hospital was built. It still sits just as it was today. Nobody's turned any dirt over to build a new restaurant or anything like that. Both Cabela's and Hickman Hospital are destination points. So when people go to those points, they go there, they take care of their business, whether it be recreation or health, and then they're leaving. So, and my last point is that, you know, from the very beginning, we were sold on this as a sports complex. And so I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna have people coming from Detroit, Washtenaw County, Kalamazoo, Chicago, Toledo, Columbus. I don't care where you're coming from, you're coming by I-94 or 223. And that means when you get off those exits, you're gonna come through Dundee. Nobody's coming through Adrian. Our hotels, our restaurants are not going to benefit from this project. That being said, if it's Tecumseh's project or if it's private money, like I said, I'm going to be a cheerleader. But right now, from what I've been told and what I know, you know, I can't support the project. Now, like I said, if you explain to me how this project is going to happen without taxpayer dollars, that could really change my mind. But I also don't, you know, see where it's going to give the city of Adrian any economic boom. Thank you.
Commissioner Roberts?
Sure. I'll jump in. So I first heard about this project last fall. when, the county had the meeting up in the chambers. Before that, I had not heard anything about Project Phoenix, but according to reports in our daily telegram, that it's been thought about, discussed for about 2 years. So I do think that it's, as, I apologize, I can't remember your name, said that it has been discussed in private as something to, that came quickly to a vote for many people. And I believe during that meeting it was Nancy Jenkins who said she did not have as much information as she wanted and needed in order to make a vote. And so she voted no. And so I do question that why one of the county commissioners even didn't have the information to vote last fall to purchase the property. I think there are some people who are working on this and know exactly what's happening with it, but that information is not public. And that causes problems. Understanding how government works and purchasing property and all of that, some of that is behind closed doors, because I know when we are going to purchase property, you know, that's one of the things we can go into closed sessions about it, if I understand correctly. So some of that I understand. For me, as I said at the meeting last fall, I'm not opposed to it and I'm not for it at this point, because as been stated, I don't know enough about it. And I don't know, and as Ms. Murphy said, it's evolving. It is, and I get that. You know, you have an idea, you come to people and you go, okay, well, what about this? And then other people bring ideas and things are changing, and things have changed a lot in the last 6-7 months. The unfortunate part though, is that that information has not gotten out to the residents of the county. I did ask to be put on the email serve for this project. I have yet to receive an email. Last fall I did email the former county commissioner and asked to have a conversation. I received no information back. So as a city administrator, I'm not getting information from the county. And so I can imagine county residents aren't getting that information. So I applaud you for actually getting a chance to meet with people. Through another commissioner, I asked Mr. Stimson to contact me. He has yet to contact me. That's tough to swallow when you have some questions. When you have residents in your jurisdiction who are going, what's happening with this? What is it going to cost? And I can't answer those questions. Why was it put here? Why are they spending all this money here? I can't answer all those questions. That's really all we're discussing tonight. We're not saying we're opposed to it if we vote this way. We're not saying, as you know, Glad said, I'm not opposed to the county spending money on economic development. The city of Adrian has done that in the past and likely to do it in the future. I'm not opposed to that at all. I think it's necessary sometimes for governments to promote economic development by using our funds. $10 million of ARPA funds, plus another $20 million of taxpayer money. Those are really, really big figures for a county our size. That's a lot to swallow. That really is. I don't understand the figures that have been presented. I have reviewed the website that we've been directed back to go to. $415,000 of rental each year. As Commissioner Collins stated, is that enough to cover everything? Is that enough to cover money to be put aside for a new roof in 10, 15 years? I don't know. I'm not an accountant, and I don't see those funds in there. But maybe they're hidden in there and I just don't understand where they're at. I love the idea of having a joint meeting. I do. I think that is really great. We have no say over what the county commissioners do, just like they have no say. All we are doing is responding to our residents right now who don't understand, who don't know what is happening. I get it, your meetings are during the day. Even I work. It was a struggle for me to get here at 4:45. So having meetings during the day is challenging for county residents. And so it's hard to get that information. I've been all over the minutes from last fall. There's not a lot on those to glean information from. That's a challenge. But I tell you, I've said this a couple times over the last month. If anyone wants my job, you're welcome to it in a year. Not to say that I'm not going to run again, but these decisions are really hard. And I tell you, I have spent more time on trying to research this project, talking with other commissioners, talking with city residents than I have on many things that I thought were, pretty big deals. So I want everyone to know that we do take our job seriously. And we do try to get the information. But when it's not forthcoming, it makes it difficult to know, to believe in the project. I really want to believe in the project. Having it on the top, cleaning up Tecumseh Products area, having it made whole, so anything can be developed on that project, 100% behind you, absolutely. Even if that is county funds, I don't have a problem with that. Having a sports complex called Lenawee Community, sorry, I'm drawing a blank on it. And that's the other thing that I've had this discussion. Is it called Lenawee Community Center? Is it called Phoenix Project? Now I see on this thing, Phoenix Community Complex. So that goes with the evolving thing. So when it was Lenawee Community Center, I believe it was the original name, I had a real problem with that because it's not a community center. It's not. You can't just pop in, at least as it was proposed last fall. You can't just pop in and play pickup basketball like you can at a community center. So changing it to now what I see as Phoenix Community Complex. All right, I can get behind that name, no problem. You probably think I've just rambled for a few minutes here. But I just want everyone to know that I am not opposed to having the Phoenix Community Complex there. But I'm not for it either. I just don't know. I don't know enough. I don't know that it's going to make enough money in a year so that my tax dollars and my children who live here in the county aren't paying for it every year for the next 30 years. I don't know. I don't have enough to say, I believe that's going to work. That's where I'm at.
Commissioner Gauss?
A couple of things. First of all, Ms. Murphy, I heard concerns about the rumors that there was going to be a vote this week. Many of us did attend last month's meeting, and I recall you telling the county commissioners that they needed to make a decision at the next meeting, that they needed to move forward. Yes, that's exactly what was said. They needed to make a decision. They could move forward, or they're going to just sell the land. And that's what I heard. And I think a whole lot of other people heard the same thing. So if there's a rumor that there's going to be a vote, which there is, that's how it got started. So if you're not going to vote this week, that's great. I'm sure some of us will be at both the Ways and Means Committee meeting tomorrow and a commission meeting on Wednesday to hear what else is going on. I came here tonight expecting that we were actually going to have a vote on whether we were going to support or oppose this project. That turns out not to be the case. We've taken a different approach, and that's fine. I could agree with my colleagues up here that we need to take more time and gain a greater understanding. I think we've gotten a lot of information, quite frankly, and based on that, I'm not crazy about supporting the project, but I'm willing to listen. I'll hear what everybody else has to say. I'll hear what transparent issues come up or we're presented with from the county commission, and we'll move forward from there. I had several conversations with a couple of fellow commissioners this afternoon, and I said I can't support this resolution as it's written. I don't believe that we need to delay, but I'm willing to compromise, and I'm willing to move forward with this resolution, but I'm going to save all my other comments to such time as we actually have a vote on whether we're going to support or oppose. Thank you.
Commissioner Casper?
I would like to, as Mayor Baker did, I would like to start with a negative comment. I think it would be imperative that Commissioner Bolton be at this meeting to hear what her constituents and her city commissioners have to say about this. I think it's imperative that she start talking to the people on the east side of Adrian and hearing what they have to say about this. And I'm incredibly disappointed that she chose not to attend this meeting. The Phoenix project has been a great debate in the county of Lenawee and the city of Adrian. I have great concern about the way this project has been shared with the public, as well as concerns about the fiscal responsibility of Lenawee County. We as a commission have heard from a great deal of our constituents. We have also heard from a lot of people that do not live in the city of Adrian. Our constituents have shared a resounding opposition of Project Phoenix with me. I'll share some of the concerns that I've heard. In the project funding dated 4/10/22, the only actual awarded money is marked for environmental cleanup. There's money labeled available, applied for, and money labeled will apply. None of this money is secured funding. Without matching or secured funds, I believe it irresponsible for the county to put any more financial backing into this project. This does say that this work is ongoing and new sources are being identified daily. Unfortunately, none of those statements are actually awarded monies. The fiscal project, the Phoenix project, draws concern with some of our residents as it does not share any depreciation taxes, etc. The net revenues on almost an $89 million investment after 5 years is less than $1 million. The projections don't look like it would bring any outside investors to me. I can't see an outside investor investing in this with so little return after 5 years. This raises more questions about the realities of the financial backing of this project, and I do not see an objective financial analysis. I have read statements in which this will draw crowds the size of MIS NASCAR races or faster horses. I question our ability to have a facility that requires the infrastructure that is needed for those events. Our community lacks the law enforcement to sustain continuous events of that nature or that capacity. We lack hotels. One of the key issues in creating a complex such as this is where do we put all of the people? What prevents Airbnbs from coming in and taking over our already taxed housing stock? The accuracy of this statement is something that has affected many of the communities in the great state of Michigan, according to the Michigan Municipal League. I do not believe that this will benefit the children and families of the city of Adrian. We live in a community rich in culture and history. We have been through a lot in the city of Adrian, and we're still recovering from the recession and the migration of some of our workforce. It has been a pleasure of mine to work with the people so vested in the city and the vibrancy of the communities within the city. Adrian Public Schools is an amazing community of staff, faculty, and children that will no doubt continue to change our world for the better. This project may serve few, but I do not believe it will serve the many that attend Adrian Public Schools. I feel there's a lot of county-backed money that will go into this, and it will not benefit the greater Lenawee County. This project has stated that there will be positive social and mental health benefits to Lenawee, and it will have a significant social impact. I question the meaning of this statement or how any of these ties into a sports complex. We recently hosted ProMedica and the Lenawee County Mental Health Authority in a pre-meeting to share the status of mental health in the city of Adrian. The common theme was struggle. We are struggling with staffing and the need for doctors. We are struggling for facilities to aid our constituents with many mental and physical health ailments, and confused at how any of this plays into a sports facility. The last 2 days I have been bombarded with emails. The letters in support have called me short-sighted. I have been told to just take care of my own area. I have been told that I am doing this just because I do not like Tecumseh. I have been called a liar. All of these statements could not be further from the truth. Statements that attack personally are ignorant, arrogant, and disingenuous. My concern is for the people of the city of Adrian. All of the municipalities and the borders of Lenawee make up this country, or this county. Our elected county commissioners are responsible for the fiscal state of this county. I hope that we are all speaking on this and considering the pros and cons of this decision, because it doesn't just affect Tecumseh or Adrian, it affects the whole county. And I believe that that should be one of the largest takeaways from this, is that what is the benefit to the whole county, not just Adrian, not just Tecumseh. These are county funds, and every municipality in this county makes up Lenawee. Thank you.
I guess it's my turn. I only want the record first to say that, I love the city. I've been here 6.5 years, and I've taken a lot of shots. But in my heart, I always make decisions based on not relationships, based on what my gut tells me what to serve the people that I represent. I'm going to piggyback before I read my prepared comments, Commissioner Castleberry's comments on our District 1 representative. It's disappointing that she is not here. She is not listening to her constituents. The 6 of us are elected to represent and improve our city and to provide services. So that county commissioner needs to understand where we're coming from and what our position is. Now on my prepared comments. I would like to state on the record that I am not opposed to the Phoenix project. With that being said, I am 100% opposed to the project if the county elects to spend any more public funds. It is our job as elected officials to try and bring in new development and opportunities for the citizens we represent. The Adrian City Commission does not gamble with public dollars. Myself and my colleagues are responsible stewards of taxpayer dollars. When the county spends over $2 million of public money on buying a contaminated piece of property without having grants in hand in escrow and private dollars, that is irresponsible in my eyes. I know a few fellow county commissioners personally, and when I challenge those members, my question was simple. Are you planning to spend any more public dollars on the Phoenix project? I can't get a straight answer. The City Commission does not conduct our business like that. I asked how much grant funding is involved when evaluating the feasibility of the project. The answer I got, we have $40 or $50 million in grants allocated to the project. Having been a city commissioner for 6.5 years and involved with the city for almost a decade, I understand that grants are a complex process to navigate through. I told the county commissioner, unless you have the money in the bank, then supporting a project with hopes of securing a grant when the county is already pumping $1 million and on a maybe, we think we'll receive it, is again irresponsible. For argument's sake, the county does not receive $50 million. Say they do get $50 million in grant funding. How are you going to fund the other $30 million? I've heard from some this past week to wait until the county holds their meetings this week, and their Ways and Means meeting and their regular scheduled city county commission meeting on Wednesday, because new information will be presented. I met with the chairman of the board, David Stimson, about 7 weeks ago. And I told him when I left that meeting, it's prudent for him to get with Kim Murphy and come in, get a hold of our city administrator, come in, present to us, because we're in the dark right now. I'm going to go off cusp real quick. Do you think for 1 second that myself and my colleagues enjoy going to extra meetings with the county? Do you think that's fun for us? We're doing it because we care. We want to know what's going on. We're not educated. So we're coming to you, and in retrospect, the county should come to us for support, because again, we are the county seat. We don't do that for our health. We do it because we're uninformed. The city commission does not know what their plan is, but I think the county doesn't have an idea how to fund it either. To show how transparent this project is, the chamber sent an email out to the listserv today. The email was obviously in support of the Phoenix project. The last part of the email states, and I quote, "Please reach out to share your thoughts of support of the project as we have important votes happening over the next couple days." Then he gives my colleagues and I's contact information and the county commissioner's contact information. It's news to me. I thought we were voting this week. I understand how this goes. We can put a motion on the floor in a second for anything at any time. That's how it works. Okay? I, along with my fellow commissioners, understand that items don't have to be on an agenda to take it to a roll call vote. In closing, I would like to reiterate for the record, I am not opposed to the project. I am opposed that what I was sold is the private endeavor, outside of purchasing the property. I'm opposed to the county spending any more additional public money on the project. The citizens I represent want to know what our position is, like Commissioner Roberts said. They are not confident that it will benefit not only the city of Adrian, but the county as a whole. We were elected to be their voice. Too many unknowns, a lack of trust and transparency from our county elected board is the reason why this special meeting was called. As one of 7 elected members on the city commission, the county seat, I passionately oppose any use of additional public dollars spent on this project. Seeing no more commissioner comments, roll call vote, please.
Can I?
Yep, go ahead, Commissioner Roberts.
Sure. I want to reiterate what the resolution says though tonight, because there's been a lot of talk about people opposing the project. Whereas the City Commission for the City of Adrian believes that it is too early to take a position on the appropriateness or viability of Project Phoenix without a complete, thorough, and objective analysis of the ability of the project to be self-sustaining and to not be a drain on the taxpayers. So let's just keep in mind, we're talking about, we're not voting against it, we're just saying we're not voting for it, or we're not in favor of it right now. But with further information, who knows? So I want everyone to keep that in mind.
Commissioner Sher?
I'd like to add to that. I think in one way or another, we all said that we weren't opposed. It's just given the information, excuse me, that we have right now, we certainly can't support this, especially when we still hear that there's not going to be any tax dollars used, but that hasn't been explained yet. But I want to say, I don't think it's our responsibility to reach out to the county commission and say, explain this whole thing to us. I think the county commission should have come to us weeks ago and said, hey, we've got this big project, we'd like you to be on board, here's what it is. But instead, we've been kept in the dark, and we've kind of had to piecemeal things together, and then people say, well, you don't have all the correct information. Well, it's not our fault. You know, the county commission could have reached out to us back in October and started to explain this to us, and this whole thing would have been a much smoother process. But I feel like our hand was forced to call this special meeting because we are having people in the community ask us questions, and we don't have good answers. We don't have good answers because nobody made a presentation to us weeks ago. And I also understand that as the process moves along, things do change. That's the nature of the business. But we never established any kind of relationship to keep that dialogue going. So here we are tonight. So again, like Commissioner Roberts said, I don't think any of us are sitting up here pounding our fists on the table saying we oppose this. We're just saying we don't have enough information, we've had a lot of bad information, and I keep scratching my head thinking, how is this gonna get done without taxpayer dollars? So,
I do want to say I have quite a few documents printed off the county website, and I'm still confused. So I think it imperative that the county have sessions where the public can ask questions, where we can take this information, or where we increase dialogue between the people and the county, that, because I've been directed to the website, it's not the easiest to navigate, and it didn't answer my questions. Clearly, there's still a lot of questions, and a lot of questions coming from our constituents, so we need to do better at dialogue. That I think is the greatest problem issue here, and some serious concern about fiscal responsibility. So that's, I do want to make sure that is said, and I do want to make sure that our constituents know that we are paying attention. Is maybe one of the reasons for tonight as well, that I want them to know that we are paying attention, that we are concerned about this, and please don't hesitate to email us, call us, and do the same with your county commissioners. So I want to make sure that that is heard loud and clear, that we are paying attention, and if you have questions, please reach out to us or your county commissioners for answers. Thank you.
You know, in my prepared comments, I said, we don't conduct business like that, and I will educate the audience on, if we were to do that, if we were to go in and earmark a substantial amount of money, public money, for a project, with no way of knowing how we're gonna pay for it, there would be people with protests outside the chambers that would be fuller inside than what it is now, right? And again, when I ask the question if there's gonna be more public money in the future, and I can't get an answer, that is disturbing to me as an elected official. It's your job to know how you're gonna fund things. That's our most important job, is to know what we're gonna do when it comes to our budgetary issues. And so that is concerning. This has nothing to do with Adrian Tecumseh. You know, I go to a lot of Tecumseh businesses. They have a great city. They offer a lot of quality of life amenities. But my job is to represent the people who live in the city. And I'll always continue to do so. It might not be popular for some, but just the lack of education on how this project can be funded by the county's elected board is the reason why, one of the reasons why this special meeting was called. Do we have any further commissioner comments? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Roberts? Yes. Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Strayer?
yes,
Commissioner Castleberry?
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss?
Yes.
Pro Tem Mayor Hill?
Yes.
Resolution adopted by unanimous vote.
Okay. Now we're going to open up for public comment again. Just a reminder that it's a 3-minute time limit. We're going to go in chambers first and on Zoom after that. Remember also that the City Commission does not dialogue in public comment. We are here to listen to your statements and concerns.
I do have a comment,
Okay.
and I appreciate.
Can you please state your name and address, and I know you're up here earlier, so.
Yeah, Victoria Powell, Greenview Drive, Adrian.
And I'm going to interrupt. Can you not touch the mic
Oh,
because
I'm sorry,
it makes
sure.
static? Thank you.
So first, I'd like to express my gratitude to you for your comments, and here's why. I had no idea what your decision was about the Phoenix project, because I haven't read or heard or spoke to anyone who knew your position. I neglected to say when I first stood up that I wondered, how did the Lenawee County Commissioners get $2.3 million to purchase a blighted 55-acre place to begin with? Where did the money come from? So we need an answer for that, because I don't know. Second of all, I appreciate that what alarms me, we have questions. Here you all are sitting saying you have questions. I just cannot believe that the people who are running this project did not come forward and meet with you to discuss this issue. You are our intermediate. You are, when we have questions, we come to you. So it's alarming to me that that this occurred and that this has transpired to this point. There is total lack of information to you, for us. That's wrong. It just subsided. I know that Dave Stimson has some questionable motive, perhaps, for his purchase of property before this. And you can read about, there's a wonderful reporter in the Lenawee Connect just the other day, or the Lenawee paper, that went into great detail about, you know, some of this aspects of who owns it, where is it, there's maps there, how is it gonna, so somebody is gonna benefit from it, and maybe it is private investment, as it might well be. But this is clearly not beneficial to the city of Adrian, and I appreciate Terry Collins' comments. There's no road that's going to be going from Adrian to Tecumseh. It takes me 20 minutes to get to the hospital from the southern part of the county. I can get to Sylvania faster than I can get to Hickman if I need to in an emergency. And it's 12.5 miles one way to Tecumseh. So and we already have transportation problems within the city. So I really have benefited greatly from listening to your comments and all people's comments. And I appreciate that, and I just want to let you know. Thank you.
Seeing no more public comment in the chambers, we'll go to Zoom now.
Ken Philcars, 110 South Locust. I want to applaud the Adrian City Commissioners. I know this was a difficult position for you, and I appreciate what you do, but I also want to address Ms. Murphy, if she's still in the audience. I apologize that I couldn't be there today. As far as transparency goes, if you go to the county website and you look up their charter or their policies, there's nothing. You can learn about their marijuana ordinance or a sign ordinance, but you can't find anything about how the county does business. I think that Ms. Murphy should take away in her new role that the county commissioners need to have their meetings at night so people can attend those meetings. The county put themselves in a very bad position. And I think that one of the items was the leadership and who brought this to the county commissioners. And now the other commissioners are put in a bad position that makes the county look bad. I think that the county commissioners need to look at that. Again, I applaud Adrian City Commissioners for bringing up this issue. There were probably more comments in regards to the project from them than there have been from the county commissioners. I called every single one of the commissioners. I think 3 of them responded, but they really didn't seem to know much about the project. Transparency is key. We're living in a different era, and this project has no transparency. When did Morenci get to have a chance at having the project put in Morenci? Why couldn't we have put the project in Heritage Park where it's centrally located? Why couldn't we have spread facilities throughout the county? Had an ice rink in Ogden, had a swimming pool in Adrian, had a running track and soccer fields in Adrian Township. Thank you.
Seeing no more comments on Zoom, any commissioner comments?
I would, again, like to echo my disappointment that Commissioner Bolton did not come to the meeting today, and I look forward to hearing her comments and thoughts and opinions on this very soon.
Commissioner Roberts?
I would love to have a joint session with the county commissioners to get more information and to have good discussion. So if that can be accomplished sooner rather than later, that would be wonderful. I do not want what happened today and what happens with this project to be an us against them. It's not Adrian against Tecumseh. It's not Adrian against the county. The county has every right, Tecumseh has every right to do with their tax dollars what they choose to do. What we are responding to is what our residents are saying to us and asking of us. So if it goes forward, that's on you, and that's fine. And myself as a city commissioner, I will never speak badly about this project if it goes forward. If you choose to spend our money on it, all right, we're on board, because that's what we're going to do. But I want you to know right now, we would really appreciate more information and how is this really going to be sustainable and not cost my children who live here in 20, 30 years some of their tax dollars. I would also like to state to the city resident that just was on the line, I received no phone call, unless it went to spam or something, but no voicemail and no phone call. So I did not reply because I did not receive a phone call. So that is all.
Seeing no more comments, I would just like to reiterate that again, I'm not opposed to the project. I'm a black and white kind of guy when you talk about money. I treat my business financials the same way. It's like when you tell me something, do it that way. Don't change the narrative because you got yourself too deep into a project. When you spend $2 million, that kind of you're in deep. So it's like now it's like we're gonna make it happen by any means necessary. That's just not responsible. Because again, it's like I treat, and I think I can vouch for my colleagues up here that we treat city tax dollars like they're our own. And that's why I think that's why our fund balance has grown since I've been on the commission from $2 million to over $10 million, because we treat their money like ours. And we are responsible with it, we are transparent with it, and when you sell a bag of goods, you need to follow through. You cannot change just because certain things don't happen. Do your homework, understand that as you go forward, you know, my kids are athletes, I travel, I play travel sports a lot. I've told the county commissioner, like, we will benefit from this because it is close to home, right? But the position I have is that you can't tell me one thing and then go on and do a 360 and change it. I don't live in that world. I live in a very black and white world, not gray. So, that's my thoughts. Seeing no more comments, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.